Preview on tomorrow's rant over at Hartmann Report. It's going to be titled "America's on Deferred Maintenance," just like the collapsed condo. And this is, and if we fail, this 40-year con that has been run by Republicans on the United States, and frankly wealthy developers on condo owners, is going to take us all down. I mean, the Champlain Towers South collapse is the result of deferred maintenance. I mean, now you could say that there are things that would have demanded that maintenance, but there are, like climate change and the infiltration of seawater into this area, or just building on what used to be a swamp. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that meant that building needed even more extensive and expensive maintenance. But the bottom line is that, the first modern condo in the United States was called Greystone Estates, I believe it was, in Utah in 1960. This is a relatively new thing, condos in the United States. 1960 was the first one. And there are just, I believe there's 5 states. There will be a link to a map of all the states. I believe there are 5 states right now, and they're all, with the exception of, as I recall, Utah, they are all blue states, all West Coast blue states: Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada. And as I recall, Utah, I'll have to check the map, but I think so. That actually require homeowners associations to plan for this kind of maintenance and to raise their monthly fees, the HOA fees, homeowners association fees, enough that they will be able to pay for these things when they come due. Down in Florida, this condo these people just got hit with an $80,000 one-time assessment. I talked about this earlier in the week after the building collapsed, and I said I would expand on it a little bit later when they pulled the plug on the rescue operation, which they have done now. And so I'm just laying this out. This is a crisis. It's a crisis, for the people who live in these kind of places, and frankly, it's a crisis, for America. And we're seeing the exact same thing with our taxes. And this is, the consequence of the Reagan, basically changing the whole rules of the game. When Reagan came into office, the United States budget deficit was $907 billion, which is nothing. Right? I mean, that was the total debt of the United States. And you do want to have some debt, because if you or I want to put our money in a safe place, or big businesses need safe financial instruments to park money in for relatively short periods of time, you have to, treasuries are the only thing, right? It's the one thing that you can put your money in where it's never going to go bankrupt, it's never going to go belly up, it's not going to, it's not going to crash during the Great Depression kind of thing, like the banks do. So you want to keep some national debt. Reagan came into office, it was $907 billion. When he and George Bush, his vice president, left office, it was up to $2.4 or $2.6 trillion. They more than tripled the national debt in 12 years. And they did it because they cut taxes on billionaires and big corporations. The billionaire tax was 74%. They took it down to 25%. And the tax on big corporations was just shy of 50%. And they took that down into the high 20s. And the result of that was that we stopped maintaining our country. So what happened to Champlain Towers South in Florida is the exact same thing that is happening to America for the exact same reason: greed. In the case of Champlain Towers, it was that the initial developers wanted to sell their condos quick, so they kept the HOA fees low so that people could afford bigger mortgages and they could buy the condos, and thus no maintenance money. In the case of America, it's because Reagan and Bush and Trump wanted to massively cut taxes on billionaires and rich people, so that these billionaires can, have competitions about who gets to fly into outer space first. But they didn't want to pay for ongoing maintenance. So we have roads falling down. We have an educational system that's collapsing. We have bridges falling apart. We have a significant portion of America's water system. I mean, there's literally hundreds of toxins in our water. Texas's power grid can't sustain itself through the winter, and now they're doing rolling blackouts because of the summer. And this is all because of the same mentality, which is, hey, grab what you can, live large for the moment, and screw the future generations. And it's got to stop.